Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Parlay Show with Bet99. I'm Rob Conway in Toronto. This is Albert Vartanian, my co-host, and busy show we got coming up today, Albert. We got the NBA draft tonight. The Blue Jays are starting to turn things around, and we're going to have a little segment at the end called The Great Debate. I got 3 burning questions that I'm going to ask you and our other co-host. His name is Matthew Barnaby. He's our former NHLer and betting guru in Ottawa. Doesn't look like he's headed to the golf course today, though, Barney. Although you could be.
Looks are deceiving. I'm definitely headed to the golf course after, but had some stuff to do this morning. Got it all done doing this show, and then gonna head out. Probably only play 9 today. Maybe practice a little bit because I was not very good yesterday. So practice makes perfect is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. It sometimes makes you worse.
It does. If you're practicing, poor practice doesn't make you better. That's for sure. You're just reinforcing bad habits. But it is officially summer. I'm personally heading up to Horseshoe Valley for just the night. It was my first Father's Day on the weekend, and we had a family thing. So my wife planned this nice little thing to go up with our baby.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. Summer, it's hot. Barney, you're golfing. I don't golf as much, but I'm trying to. Albert, you are now healthy with your hand and ready to go. You look like you're ready to tee it up.
I know. That's what everyone keeps saying.
You got the Bubba Watson button right up to the top look as well, and everything going on. Now, I am a big poolside guy. Like Barney, you remember when we were in Arizona and we golf every single day, and you were there with Rhonda, and Natasha was there, Rhonda's friend, and they were poolside every day. And I was like, I would just as well let you guys go golfing. But it was all of my friends. So I had friends from 3 different friend bases. I had a guy from my golf who was in my wedding party, a new friend I know, and then Barney. So I felt, Barney, you can agree, I was the glue guy in this thing. You guys wouldn't have been able to golf without me, correct?
Well, you certainly became unglued a few times during the trip. I can certainly vouch for that. So yes, the glue guy that brought everyone together, and then we had to hold you together a few times.
A couple of times.
I'm not a poolside guy.
No, eh?
No, I get bored. I really get bored. I don't mind going for an hour, but I can't lay there all day long. I'd much rather be in a casino or playing golf rather than poolside. But the wife loves it, so sometimes you have to do it.
I'm the same way. You got to get moving, man. Can't just sit there the whole time. Yeah, you get a few drinks, but you want to do stuff. Talk to people, move around, play some golf.
I can do the swim up bar in Mexico for like 8 hours straight.
Oh, that's brutal. Are you the pee in the pool guy?
No.
Oh, yeah, you are. Dude, if you're there for 8 hours?
No, I get out of the pool. I'm just saying I can
and you throw down 12 beers in those small plastic cups.
You don't even finish those because it gets so warm.
I can't believe you're a pee in the pool guy.
I'm not a pee in the pool guy.
You are.
He totally is.
Never.
Definitely. 100%.
Never. I hope they have a lot of chlorine in those bad boys.
I'm going to Mexico in August, beginning of August. And they have a pool bar. I plan to spend a lot of time.
Okay, well, if you're going in August, I've been to Mexico. I golfed on my birthday, which is July 31st, in case you guys want to write that down. And it was 40. It's producer Ellie's birthday too. All right.
Wow.
And so we went golfing. It was 44 degrees, but I kept saying to my buddy, it only feels like 44. It's really only 38.
That's brutal, man.
And so you're going to be in Mexico. You will be in the pool because it's going to be warm.
Yeah, there's a golf course on the resort, but I don't think I'm going to play in that weather. No,
you can play 6 a.m. Get out there by 6, get down by 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in Mexico, play at 6 a.m.
That's not happening. There's no way that's
You're still up. You're still up playing the 9. Anyways, looking forward to a good few months. We're being Canadian. This is what we get. I just don't want to hear anyone say it's too hot because when it's minus 40 in January, you really would love to have a 35
beautiful.
degree.
I love the 4 seasons, so I'm easy.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like the snow is great. Like it's not that bad. Man.
Yeah.
It really isn't that bad.
Barney, you're a warm guy all the time, right?
Yeah, we don't really have 4 seasons anymore. I'd say 3. There's no real spring.
Yeah, that's true.
Anymore, but I love the heat. Just bring on the heat. I can jump in a pool quick. I can play golf. I'm a big cottage guy in the summer now. I was never a big cottage guy until the wife suggested we get one, and now I'm a huge cottage guy. There's no worries when I'm at the cottage.
You do have a pretty sick cottage and a couple of nice toys there with the jet skis,
I love that.
which I've gunned on 50 kilometers an hour. And,
unbelievable.
And a nice little pontoon boat and everything, which we didn't have when I was there 2 years ago. Remember, it was back ordered forever. So I'll be looking forward to it in August, getting my first little tour of the lake in the pontoon boat. Let's get into Hockey Hall of Fame announcements. Barney, you are close to this because of the fact that you have played with players that are getting inducted, players that aren't getting inducted. And, every year it seems the likes of Jeremy Roenick and Alexander McGinley on the top of your tongue of players that do not get inducted every year. And it's never to take away necessarily from who is getting in. I just want to make that clear. When you're saying, oh, this person should be instead of another person, it's not because the other person doesn't deserve it. It's that the other person's sitting there waiting to go. But look, you're the one with the most expertise here. Barrasso, Vernon, Huillet, and Turgeon, among some other, I think Ken
Hitchcock,
Hitchcock.
In the builder section.
In the builder section, yeah. So just your reaction, like to those guys. You played with Barrasso. I think you probably played against Vernon, maybe Turgeon as well. And, you've played with the likes, like I say, of Roenick and McGinley. And I saw McGinley's name a bunch yesterday, and we agree that Roenick should be in there too. Not just if you just want to look at it from an American hockey player standpoint, but even still, just as a general hockey player should be. But McGinley's name a lot too. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'll never disparage guys that or women that go into the Hall of Fame. If your name's even in consideration, then there's no reason that I or anyone else should have a problem with it. It's the people that don't get in that I have a problem with. And you look at Jeremy Roenick, his points per game, what he did for American hockey in a time that really took it to the next level. And you can put Pat LaFontaine in that group. So many great American players. But Jeremy Roenick is right up there. And getting to know him, there's nothing more I would want for him because he loves hockey, he loves people. And I just know how much it would mean to him. And he deserves it. Frankly, he deserves it. But one guy I did play with, Alexander McGinley, it's a travesty that he's not in there. You look at his points per game, defecting from Russia, coming over to play, and people are saying, oh, we're not going to let Russian players in right now because of what's going on between them and Ukraine. Like, is there anything more stupid and political? And here's a guy that left Russia to come to North America and escape, and what he did for hockey, and one of the best players of his generation. He was absolutely phenomenal. Great person, great player, Stanley Cup champion. Check off the boxes. He did it all. And I just remember his 76-goal season with Pat LaFontaine, get 148 points that year. That was the year I was coming in at the end of the year, turning pro. So those two guys deserve to be in. I'm sure Patrick Marleau is going to get in before these two guys get in. You could talk about Cujo not getting in, 7th most wins of all time for a goaltender. But, Tom Barrasso, I played with. He was a Calder trophy winner coming out of high school, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, a Vezina winner. All these people deserve to be in, but it really is ridiculous that those two, and you can even throw in Keith Tkachuk, over 500 goals in the National Hockey League, that he's not in there. If the Sedin twins are in with those numbers, with the numbers that they have, great players. They deserve to be in. Those guys should be in as well.
Barney, how much do players think about or talk about the Hall of Fame amongst themselves, maybe in the locker room or during the regular season?
Not at all. Not at all. It's one of those things. I think the great players, they all aspire to be in there. But Connor McDavid doesn't put any thought, or Sidney Crosby. I think they play their game. And as they get to the end of their career, they look back. And I think the important thing for all athletes is to stay in the moment. Never look too far in the past. Never look too far in the future. Never get too high on your highs and too low on your lows. And I talk about this with my own son. Being an athlete is the greatest of all highs, and sometimes can be the lowest of all lows. And you have to really stay in the moment. I think the great players do a great job of not thinking about what the future might bring. Listen, Sidney Crosby knows he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Connor McDavid knows he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but they stay in the moment. When their career is done, they're like, oh, I'm a Hall of Famer now.
You've played with lots of Hall of Famers. I don't know if you know the exact number off the top of your head, but I worked when I was the head coach for golf at Seneca College for Angela James, who's in the Hockey Hall of Fame, and talked to her a bit about some of the festivities around induction week and in Toronto, and going to Gretzky's bar, which unfortunately is no longer. I'm assuming yes, but have you been to any Hockey Hall of Fame induction weekend in Toronto, and any good stories?
Well, I'm just going to rattle off a bunch of names. I know you hate when I do this.
Yeah.
Hey, Mass Dog, we played golf together or whatever. Listen to the list of Hall of Famers that I've played with. I won't go over all of them, but I'll give you a pretty good list. Dominic Hasek, Pat LaFontaine, Mario Lemieux, Marty St. Louis, Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Rob Blake, Mark Messier, Brian Leach.
Wow.
Jaromir Jagr's another pretty good player that I played with. The list just goes on and on and on. And it was Mike Modano, Sergei Zubov. Very fortunate to play with. Eric Lindros is the only one. I've been invited to Dominic Hasek's and his agent. I wrote back, I go, you know, I don't like Dominic Hasek, right? And I won't be attending his party in Toronto. So I never got a respond email, but that's okay. Eric Lindros, I did go to his induction, went to his party after. It was absolutely awesome and true. Eric, like, we all show up in suits and pocket squares, and he shows up to the after party in jeans, flip-flops, and a white untucked shirt. Just was a privilege to be his teammate. He was also my roommate for 3 years in New York and a year in Dallas. But we just had an awesome time. I think it was at the Ritz-Carlton, the after party. Just stories and stories and stories from all former players that he was there with, John LeClaire and so many, Michael Renberg, so many different guys. But I was privileged to go to that one. A great time. And I was very fortunate to play with so many Hall of Famers.
That is quite the list, Albert, of players that our good friend here, Matthew Barnaby, has been privileged to play with. I have personally played with all of them too on video games.
Same.
I think most of them anyway. Maybe not. I think most of them.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, I think
you mentioned Yager. He'll get in, obviously, but he's still playing.
He's still playing.
Still going.
Yeah.
So I think the eligibility is 3 years, right? You got to be retired for at least 3 years.
I think Gretzky and Lemieux were the only two that went in right away.
Right away, yeah, which is almost like a.
But so he's playing he owns the team, right?
He's never going to get in the Hall of Fame until he dies. He's going to be 98 playing for Platinum or whatever.
Yeah, because he was. I think at one point he said, like, I'm the reason why people come to watch, and there's investors, and I got to keep playing. And every once in a while we see a highlight on TV where he scores. So
he loves it. He loves it.
Unbelievable. Well, that was pretty. I say a pretty good list, but congratulations to everybody. Like, again, the point of that conversation is never to take away from the people that get in, because they're much deserving. It's more a matter of sometimes when you have a guy like you, Barney, who's played with other players, you know how good they are. And then you see also on social media the names come up. But it's a debate every single year. Congratulations to everybody there. We're going to take a quick break here on the Parlay Show. But coming up, we're going to talk about the Jays. Last time we had a chat, it was Disaster City. All of a sudden, they're back and things are rolling. We will see. And, of course, we'll have the great debate coming up with 3 tough questions for Albert and Matthew.